You almost have like Anakin hair. Like it's a little curlier than Anakin's, but like the length is about right and the part is exactly right.
Anakin's hot.
Yeah, he is, dude. Hayden Christensen.
He's hot. Do you think like behind the ear?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. I think Jared Padalecki would make a hell of a Revan. I think he'd be a cool Jedi. He's a crazy Star Wars fan, and he auditioned to be Anakin.
He would.
I think he would have been good. Yeah, I think he would have been good.
Plus, he's hot too.
Oh yeah.
People are angry that. I love when you have those conversations with people where they're like, "Oh, George Lucas specifically picked Hayden Christensen. Oh, yuck, he's so whiny." And then you throw out that Luke Skywalker quote.
Yeah, but I wanted to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. Yeah, Luke was f***ing whiny too.
I'm out of my depth.
Also, Anakin was not whiny in episode 3. Just episode 2.
That's true.
He got the shaft in episode 3. He deserved to be pissed because they f***ed him over again and I'm not going to get into it.
All he did in episode 3 was kill children.
Okay. That's fine.
Are you guys ready or not?
Yeah, I'm ready. I just got triggered on some...
You know how this works, Avery. All of this is going to be in there.
No.
Yeah, don't cut this in post.
This is all going to be... I don't cut anything.
Wonderful.
Cut it in post.
What how long is this? Like 7 minutes of us bullshitting and not talking about anything?
Stupid bullshit.
Fine.
This isn't a podcast, though.
Oh, that's fair.
So...
It can be.
Well... Yeah, it could
Although
be.
there's
like 3 minutes.
I want to start a podcast.
Yeah, dude, it's fun. I love it. Like, I would never have given a shit about podcasting had it not been for HeadGum, and then I was like, I want to do this.
I got into the true crime shit, so
nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
What was it?
Awesome. Ladies, gays, and theys, welcome to Ducky Productions.
That was so much. Hi, my name is Avery.
My name is Nathan, and today we have with us an incredibly special guest, the wonderful, miraculous, lovely, indubitable Michael.
E-Bag.
Do you have any more?
We shouldn't put his last name in it.
No.
I don't care.
I can add
I add my last name on the podcast.
Can you?
That's true.
Oh, okay.
You can it if you want, but I don't care.
All right.
The more people who know me, the better. I am a whore for attention, so...
So, to give you guys a little bit of context, Michael is Nathan's very best friend, and he's also the guy that married us. So, yeah.
True.
And Nathan married Michael and his wife, so it's like a whole thing.
We're both ordained ministers for the Universal Life Church. We can perform exorcisms. Our email is down in the description.
Yeah. That's why I'm in the business, really.
And Michael also has his own podcast. Michael, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I would love to plug my podcast. Thank you, Avery. So, my podcast, it is me and the lovely little Mexican man, Anthony Peralta, and it's M&A's Excellent Adventures. I won't go into too much, but basically we just improv short stories every week, and it is really hilarious because neither of us are very good at improv. So it's great. It's super fun, and you should come join us.
You introduce today's topic of discussion, Nathan. So... It feels weird using your real name.
That's okay.
What does he call you, then?
Babe.
Oh.
That's it. He's not very creative.
I'll just be Michael. That's fine.
We need a nickname for Michael. Well, hey, we have a guest on. How much work would it be to create another little duck?
Not much.
Wait for that thumbnail, which you've already seen, and we have no idea what it looks like.
Right.
Yeah, get my complexion right. Or I'll cancel the both of you.
You need a light brown duck. That's right. All right.
With these eyebrows? Are you kidding me?
Today, we are going to be discussing games that we are incredibly nostalgic for. It doesn't mean they're good.
No.
It just means we're nostalgic for them. That's the only rule.
Mine are good.
Mine are good, too.
Maybe yours are bad.
Most of mine are something.
So, my first pick for a very nostalgic game. This was like the one game that my siblings and I played to death when we were kids. We got in trouble a lot because we'd miss the bus and we lived like 15 miles out of town, and then my mom would be pissed because she'd have to drive us to school because we were playing this game on the N64.
Nice.
Super Smash Brothers. This is a repro cart. I would like to just say flat out that this is not a real N64 Super Smash Brothers cartridge. I didn't buy it. I didn't break the law, okay?
I was going to say, are those illegal?
I don't know, but I didn't buy it.
We acquired it by some means.
Yeah, but I didn't buy it or steal it. So
This is also one for me.
yeah, Super Smash Brothers on the N64, fantastic game. It still holds up pretty well, actually. But let's be real, best Super Smash Brothers is
The original.
not Melee. It's actually Ultimate.
It's this
So,
one.
Yeah.
This is the best one.
I disagree.
With the first one?
Yeah.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I have no nostalgia for it. I never played it until after I had played all of the other ones.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I was like,
didn't I
boy,
whoop-
this is rough.
Didn't we play it and I whooped your ass?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was like, I couldn't figure it out. I felt like a boomer.
Well, that controller.
Like this confounded contraption I'm losing.
My main in this game is Pikachu, and I just spam the Thunderbolt.
Is that
No,
basic,
I
or is
got
that-
it.
Oh, not the most basic.
Okay.
I gotta admit, Ultimate is definitely the best because I kick ass at Snake.
Ultimate is really good. I do have a nostalgia for Melee, but Ultimate's better.
Yeah,
For sure.
I would agree. Melee's really good, but yeah. So that's my first pick. The original Super Smash Brothers. It's a good time.
So a couple honorable mentions that I have that are up there. ATV Off-Road Fury, the first one for PS2, and Jam Pack. I don't remember which one, but it had SSX Tricky and one of the Dynasty Warrior games on it. And those were two of the first 3 games I ever had for my PS2. So those are on the list. Those are my 2 honorable mentions. They have a deep place in my heart, even though they're bad.
Yeah, the one honorable mention I would have would be Mercenaries for the PS2. I just like the fact that you can put like 20 things of C4 on top of a car and then speed it towards like a bunch of North Korean people, soldiers, North Korean militants who are attacking you.
Citizens.
And then leap out of the car and like just have this giant explosion. Moving on.
You're canceled for that.
Yeah,
Apparently canceled.
absolutely.
So my first one, honestly, I think this is only here because I got a funny story about it. So, yeah, it's Yoshi's Story on the N64.
That one's legit.
I've played like maybe 3 levels of this, mostly because when I was a kid, I was super, super terrified of ever dying. So the reason why I've ever played Yoshi's Story is because my grandparents were the only people with a game console, and they had Mario 64, and that's the only game they had. What just...
What'd you f up?
The Netch. The Netch.
Wow.
The Netch died.
That's bizarre. You're haunted.
My grandparents...
Sorry.
My grandparents only had a Nintendo 64, and all we had was Mario 64, so we would rent games. At one time, we rented Yoshi's Story, and then it was time to bring it back, and my grandparents grabbed the wrong game and returned Mario 64 to the video store. So then all we owned was Yoshi's Story,
Yeah.
which is the
Nice.
only reason I've touched that game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is nostalgic though. Like, I bet if I were to turn it on and hear like the main music, I would just have all these traumatizing memories of my childhood. So,
That's
really
fair.
bring me back.
That's more than fair. Yeah. All right.
Like, give the editor just a moment.
Give you a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moment's up.
Yeah.
Okay.
My hair sucks.
That's fine. It looks cute. So my
I
first
wanted.
pick here, and the reason it's my first pick is because it goes along with my honorable mentions. The third game of the 3 first games I got for my PS2 is Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. Ow.
That ring light's really giving you the business.
God, anybody who's played this game knows that it is the shit. It's so awesome. I played it again recently and I still had fun. Obviously the mechanics aren't modern, but it's still fun. It's still a good time. I love Lord of the Rings. and it's cool to just chop up some orcs and goblins and urukai as the three hunters. Yeah, it's a good time.
This one is incredibly nostalgic for me too. My main question is though, why not the third one? Because Return of the King is a baller game, and that would probably be my choice.
Return of the King, I think is better for sure. But I never had Return of the King. I played it on a friend's console, but I think
my console.
No, I had a different. I had a friend, and we played.
Did you try to beat it on my PS2 on like hard or whatever?
Yeah,
and it was just absolutely kicking your ass.
Hey, I got
really
got to
far.
Minas Tirith. I was, but yeah, I got really.
Didn't you get to Sam in the spider?
I think that's
layer?
where I couldn't. Yeah,
and
it
like
was
that level's just impossible.
Yeah,
because Sam sucks.
Yeah. So yeah, the Two Towers, because that's the one I owned, and God, I played it. Like I got my PS2 and I played this consistently until I didn't have a PS2 anymore, and I stupidly sold it when I got a 360 and regret it to this day. But
They're
yeah,
not that expensive. Just buy one.
it's Ashley has an early PS3 that plays PS2 games.
Okay.
So I can still play PS2, but it's not the same.
Right.
I had my baby PS2 Slim, and I was so proud of it. But yeah, so Two Towers is there because I played it for so long, and I love it, and it's amazing, and yeah, it's just super fun.
It is still a good game.
It's still a good game.
Isn't that one player?
Yeah.
I think Return of the King is 2 player.
Some of it is 2 player, some of it's 1 player. If you're like Gandalf or the Sam level, those are 1.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
any of the Hunter ones, you're 2 player. So that's my first.
Okay. So, jeez. My next game really is just like the entirety of the library that I owned on this console is very nostalgic for me. But specifically this game, because this is one of the first games that I ever had on it. Nathan, you're going to have a time. It
You're real
is
close.
Pokemon. Yeah, no.
Is that
stop.
Emerald?
No, this is Pokemon Leaf Green.
Oh, okay.
Remake of the original Pokemon. Red and blue are the ones that came out in the United States. Green came out in Japan. But I absolutely adore this game. I love Emerald too. I actually had that as a kid. But rebuying that would cost like $80, and I'm not about that life.
Pretty cheap compared to some of the games I have to buy.
Yeah,
That's
but
fair.
I absolutely love this game. Anything from the Game Boy Advance era is just fantastic. I have a stupid amount of Game Boy Advance games that I don't play. I guess my only honorable mention would be Hamtaro Ham Heartbreak, or what's the other Hamtaro game? Hamtaro Hams Unite is also a good one. But this game specifically, this was my very first Pokemon game that I owned, that I played. I didn't beat it, like, as a kid, but, I love Pokemon. I own, like, all of the Pokemans, and I love all of the Pokemans.
I will second. Game Boy Advance definitely kicked ass, and I also stupidly sold that one for way less than it was worth.
We have two! You
I
can borrow
regretted
one.
it. That's fine. Yeah, I had Sapphire and Ruby, and that was my shit,
Yep.
which is the same.
We have Sapphire. Sapphire is a good time.
Super good.
Did you have that thing as a kid where like if you sold something or got rid of something or it broke, like it was just gone forever, like you just never even had the idea of buying a new one? It was just okay, good.
Like, this is done. I'm never gonna have this again.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, because my copy of well, actually, it's a game that's coming up on your list,
But a copy of a game.
Yeah, I had a copy of a game, and it was like one of my favorite games, and it busted, and like my parents, like, they brought the disc in to be cleaned like 5 times. They put toothpaste on it because something on the internet said like that would work, and it was just broken. And it's like, the damn thing was $30. Like, why don't we just buy a new one? I remember spending years just being like, oh no. And it wasn't until I got a PS3 and there was like a re-release that I actually like got to play it again. And I just have no idea why.
Now,
That was my childhood, where just nothing ever got replaced.
Real question for you, Michael.
Yes.
Did you have a Game Boy Advance or a Game Boy Advance SP?
I had a Game Boy Color, and then I got a Game Boy Advance. I did not have an SP. I did not have.
So you didn't have the one with the backlight?
No. No. Yeah, no. I just had the Game Boy Advance.
The wide one.
And that was where it stopped for me. I never got a... Oh, yeah, the SP was like the fold... Like it folded. Yeah, I never had that. I never got a DS. That was pretty much the end of my Nintendo adventures, was the Game Boy Advance. I know, but I chose a different path. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Neither of us play Nintendo.
Both of y'all.
I want a Switch. I just haven't.
Buy one.
You don't need it.
I don't. Yeah.
You.
We won't get into my finances.
That's because
right
we
now.
have two. No, but Game Boy Advance SP is where it's at, because I don't know why the hell they ever made the Game Boy Advance without a backlight. That was the stupidest ever, because they literally just released a Game Boy Color Light. So it had a backlight in it in Japan the year previous to the Game Boy Advance coming out. And they were just like, yeah, we're not putting a backlight in here.
I recently played the SP, though, and, like, the Advance, like, I can do that, but the SP, like, oh my god, it breaks my wrist.
No, it's definitely not as comfortable as the, like, regular Game Boy Advance, but what are you going to do? Play a game without a backlight?
You could get one of those little lights.
The warm lights?
I had one of those. Little lights.
Convince your dad to leave the car light on.
Yeah.
Oh,
in the middle
God.
of the night.
Trying to play with the streetlights going
Like,
by, and you're
passing
like barely able to. Oh man.
But yeah, Game Boy Advance just in general is like my fave. But.
For sure.
All right.
Okay.
You're up, bud.
What is next? What's next?
I think this one.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. All right, so this is a game that I originally played on the N64.
Yeah, we don't have it for the N64.
No, and maybe we should get it, but considering how I feel about Nintendo...
I don't have any gripes against it, I just don't play it.
No, I don't have any problems with Nintendo either, but, like, PlayStation's my game. All right, it is... Rampage 2 Universal Tour.
I actually played that with you, and it was super fun.
Oh my god, it's so
bit.
good. And it's this one because I believe the first Rampage doesn't have the Rhino. And the Rhino is the one... The Rhino is the one where you can go to the top of the buildings and then punch down and break all the windows, and it's the easiest way to destroy buildings. So screw the first one. Second one's better. If you can't play as the Rhino, there's just no point in playing the game at all.
Fair.
But yeah, no, Rampage was, oh man, so many days at my grandparents' house playing on the N64. Rented that game every single time I went there. And, like, I remember getting old enough to realize that what I was playing was incredibly violent. Because when I was a little kid, it's just like, yay, I'm punching buildings. Oh no, they're shooting bombs at me. Like, it was no big deal. And then, like, I realized that you could scoop people up and eat them, or, like, smush them, or that they would, like, jump out of buildings and smush on the ground, or, like, just...
Yeah.
It's just incredibly brutal. and yeah, I remember getting older and being like, oh, I don't know if I should be playing this game. Oh, and, like, I'm pretty sure when ladies in dresses, like, jump out of buildings, like, their skirts fly up Marilyn Monroe style.
Speaking of
amazing game
of gruesome violence, this isn't on my list, but it can be an honorable mention, is Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
Back there.
I was a bit of a sadist, I guess, as a child. I used to
oh no.
In the Coruscant level, there were a lot of civilians, and me and my friends thought it was funny. I don't think it's funny now, but me and my friends thought it was funny in elementary school to tie people up and then and light them on fire and then just have them die as they can't move and they burn to death.
I mean, all right.
You don't think that's funny now?
In a different way.
To be fair, though, anybody who's played The Sims definitely drowned their sim in the pool.
Yeah, I created a serial killer sim. I would have parties, invite people down into the basement where there was a pool, and then I'd have my character go upstairs and I'd delete the door.
Yeah.
And they'd eventually just die.
Oh, that's a big one. That's a big honorable mention for me.
Yeah.
The Sims 2. Just all of it. I don't
Yes.
own The Sims 2 anymore because, like, I have better to do now, I guess. But The Sims in general is, like, the shit. It's the shit. So, played way too many hours of The Sims. So many hours of The Sims.
Well, and I'm currently talking about a game where literally you get health back by eating people and destroying famous cities.
Right.
So the next game is the game that I was talking about.
Yeah. This next game I still love, and that is the first Lego Star Wars. The first one. It came out. It was basically for episode 3, because episode 3 was coming out, and they were like, let's get some more money.
And it spoils episode 3.
And it spoils episode 3, but kind of. But it's like there's no dialogue, so you don't know what's going on entirely. God, it's good.
Best Lego game.
I definitely think so. And whatever. I'm sure there's people who prefer the second one, or even the complete saga. I mean, the complete saga is fine. I think the levels in the second one are way too long to where it can get boring super fast, whereas these ones were like fast paced. It's a Lego game. I don't want to like wander around for a while.
Explore.
Yeah, that sucks.
Can't you like 100% this game? You can get through like all of the levels in probably, what do you think, like, oh my god, like 2 hours?
Yeah,
maybe? You could probably 100% it in like 6 or 7.
Probably. But like the hub being in Dexter's Diner was awesome. I loved that. I thought it was so cool seeing, and then like in the parking lot where all the mini kits were. It was before Lego games talked, which is so stupid. They still shouldn't talk. The little hmms were fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just cool. It was funny. It was goofy. It's a great game for kids, and it's still pretty fun to play. It's a lot less infuriating than the second one, just because the second one can get to be too long. Whereas this one, yeah, it's just super fun. You go through it. The levels are great. The level designs are spectacular, and the characters kick ass. And I am one of I probably in the minority, but I love the prequels. So this was stellar for me. And as a kid, I was obsessed with Star Wars, and Episode 3 was starting to come out. So it was perfect in every way to me.
Perfect storm.
Perfect storm.
Yeah, I honestly think I have a lot more than I'd think that I would have to say about Lego games. I have a lot of opinions. But no, they were way better before they could talk, and like it made them do a lot of creative, weird things to get the story across. And so I really liked that. Also, like, we played Lego Lord of the Rings. That's the only Lego game that I've played where they could talk. And there was maybe twice in the entire game where they used the dialogue from the films in like an interesting way.
The best, yeah.
The best way was when the
Easterlings.
The Easterlings, the Haradrim, are coming to the Black Gate with a pile of pizzas, and one of the orcs on the Black Gate is like, "Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys." That was the best. That should have been the only dialogue in the entire game.
Yeah,
and that's what we said, because the entire rest of it was just like, oh, here's snippets of the dialogue so that you get just enough of the story, and it was just boring.
Yeah, part of the fun was that it was Legos, and so like, yeah, they just hummed their way through it and like made gestures, but they had to express things without talking about it, and it was super fun to just
it made more sense in its own world.
Yeah,
that's what I really liked about it. And like, oh my god, this is probably like a total cop-out and not very, they probably could have done something better, but I love the part in Lego Star Wars 2 where the "I am your father" scene.
I was just thinking about that.
I was wondering how they would do that without dialogue. And what happens is Darth Vader holds up a picture of him and Padme and is like,
it's so good.
That's cute. I like it.
Yeah. So
I need to play Lego Star Wars.
Well, no, what was it, a year or 2 years ago where we literally 100%ed the complete saga, which is the first two Lego Star Wars games.
Yeah, it was probably 2 years ago, I think. It was a while ago, but God, that was fun.
Yeah, we
100%ed it.
It was still amazing.
It was still really good. Yeah, that was the complete saga, and that was pretty fun. We were excited for 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, 5, and 6 came, and we were stoked, and then we were like, wait. every level is so much longer in this one.
You can beat like some of the levels in 1, 2, and 3 are like literally 5 minutes. It's just a bite-sized level to get to the point. It's all like, it's like if you take all the greatest moments from the 4, 5, and 6 levels and just mash them together, that's what all the 1, 2, and 3 levels were. Just tight, concise.
Yeah, you don't have to go through like 20 rooms for the Jabba's palace level.
Sorry, Avery. We got talking about Lego Star Wars.
And you have a lot of opinions.
Well, you guys got talking about Star Wars in general, so I'm just like, I don't.
Don't even get started,
guys.
I'll hijack the video.
Guess what, YouTube? I haven't seen Star Wars. I've seen number 7.
What?
I've seen
I thought
number
you
7.
showed her.
No.
Okay.
We talked about this in a previous video.
I've seen
the
entirety of the Lord of the Rings, but that's it.
I mean, that's good. That's a step.
I showed her the entirety of the Lord of the Rings. She didn't see it until she was like 23 years old.
Yeah.
I know too many people who have never seen Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. I mean, one is too many people, but I know more than that. So, God.
I love being able to tell people I haven't seen Star Wars because they're always so appalled.
At least watch the original trilogy. Like, I have a deep affection for the prequels, but at least just...
Honestly, like, if I was gonna... If I had the ability to show her Star Wars, I'd be like, 4 and 5.
But it's like the
4
biggest
ideally.
franchise ever.
Yeah, that's why she likes being able to say that she hasn't seen it.
I guess so. It's so important.
And also, it's not Hello Kitty is the biggest franchise ever.
I guess.
It's true. Hello Kitty actually makes the most money worldwide every single year. Is it Hello Kitty or is it Pokemon? Now I need to look it up again. But
I think it's Hello Kitty and
I'd be
Pokemon's second.
Happier about Pokemon being
it's one or the
bigger.
other.
But
Hey. Don't hate on the Hello Kitty.
I'm sorry.
Hello Kitty's on my 3DS.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's represented in this house.
My apologies.
So my next game is Luigi's Mansion, the original. I don't have long enough arms for this, but yeah, the original Luigi's Mansion. One, I like this copy of it in particular because so I bought this used. This is not my original copy of Luigi's Mansion. But in this manual, there is a note from obviously a little kid who was writing about Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon and said that he was so excited because Luigi's Mansion was his favorite game. And that's just the cutest thing I've ever read in my entire life.
What if it was an adult that said that?
You know what? Still cute. Still adorable.
Yeah,
still wholesome.
That's fine.
So, no, the handwriting, unless they have some really bad handwriting, it was obviously a kid. But it might be. Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube was one of, like, probably my first 3 games that I had for my GameCube. I absolutely love this game. It's very short. It's probably only, like, 6 hours. But, this game is just like Ghostbusters and Luigi like put together in the best frickin' way possible. And it looked really good. Like, it was so impressive to see the graphics in this game back in, I don't know, 2000 and something. 2001. 2001. Right. It was incredible. Like, this game looked really, really good. I love the gameplay. Luigi's a big coward, and I just love how much of a scaredy cat he is. It's beautiful. He's the best Mario bro.
I always that's a hot take. Yeah, golly gee willikers, bud.
Also check out our last video. It is canon that Luigi's last name is Mario. If you want to know more about it.
Yes, it's Mario.
Yeah, it's Mario
and
Luigi Mario.
What a bad life Luigi lives. Have you ever seen that? I think it's Dorkly. Giuseppe, the third Mario brother.
No,
it was like they have a video. It's regular Giuseppe.
Okay,
and he's just normal. Like, Mario and Luigi come home from their adventures, and Giuseppe's like taking care of the house, and he's pissed because like their mom's in the hospital and they're not going to visit her, so Giuseppe has to take care of her, and he has to take care of the house, and so he's like, Luigi, you took the vacuum again. I need that. And it's like full of ghosts. And he's like, damn it, Luigi. And they are just like, they're like, whatever, Giuseppe, just clean it up. You'll be fine. And they like treat him like shit. And he's not So you have Super Luigi and Super Mario and regular Giuseppe.
No.
It's so good.
Was it Dorkley who also made a video? The only reason why I knew the Super Mario Bros. Movie existed was because I saw this video when I was in middle school where it's like Luigi complaining about how Mario's always the main character. So they're like running through a Bowser dungeon while like Luigi's like, yeah, and you're like, you know, you're the main character in this, and you're the main character in this, and you're the main character in this. And at one point, Luigi's like, you were even the main character in the Super Mario Brothers movie. And Mario slaps him in the face, and he's like, we promise to never talk about that ever again.
I think that was a Dorkly video. Oh, it's so funny.
Link to our review up in the iCard or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
But yeah, this game, fantastic. I love Luigi. I love the controls in this game. I love that the big baddie is King Boo, and the doctor, I can't remember his name. He looks like a creepy little old man baby.
Is that
I
a
love
spoiler?
him. No.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm spoiling Luigi's Mansion. This came out
I've never
20
played it,
years
so-
ago.
So
Get over it. But this game is amazing. I love all three of them. Dark Moon is definitely the worst of the three. Sorry about it. But this game is probably the most nostalgic other than my last pick.
Of
So
course.
this is my like most played game.
No,
as a kid.
I've never played it, but
Same.
I've seen stuff about the level of detail in the game, and like people knock on it for being short, but like what Luigi whistling because he's scared, and like he like what the way that he says Mario changes based on
Mario.
he says it more scared the less health he has.
Yep.
And like stuff like that.
That's really good.
Well, and there's dust that'll fly up like as he's walking, and he'll start shaking more as like it gets darker. It's a really detailed game. The sound design is fantastic.
That's really impressive for 2001, I suppose. I also have never played it, but I wanted to so bad as a kid, but I would have had to also buy a console.
Yeah. So buy a Switch. And then you can play Luigi's Mansion 3.
God, it looked awesome, but I never had the access to it as a wee lass.
You can play it today.
Play the Outer Worlds first.
What?
Nathan's been wanting me to play the Outer Worlds for a long time. I want to play it, but like I don't have any money right now. And it's such a commitment. Like I know I'm going to like commit to it, and like committing to Spider-Man is one thing.
It's shorter than Spider-Man.
Is it?
Yeah.
I was not expecting it to be shorter than Spider-Man.
Like, you know how much time I take when I play games, and I move really, really slowly, and I was really excited for this game, so I did everything. I 100% of the game as much as you can, and I was barely able to milk like 38 hours out of it.
Wow.
So,
I
like,
was expecting like hundreds of hours. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know
no,
how
it's-
many hours I put into New Vegas. I was expecting it to be similar to
It's
that.
basically an indie game.
Which, that's good though. God, some of those indie games, man.
Yeah, it's just like the studio was not in a good space when they made it, and that's why it's as short as it is.
Got it.
So yeah, no, you could definitely beat the main story in maybe 15-20 hours, but if you're doing all the side content and everything, like you'll probably finish it faster than Spider-Man.
It's a lot more digestible. That'd be like trying. I assumed it'd be like trying to pick up Skyrim now. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
no.
I don't have the free time to like invest.
It's much shorter than
So okay, right on.
that. All right.
Nathan, you're up.
Segway. So, my next game is so good. All right. It is The Hobbit, the prequel to The Lord of the Rings.
It's not good.
That's literally... Yeah, that's literally what it's called, the prequel to The Lord of the Rings.
Is that?
Yeah, no, that's part of the title
Oh.
because it came out in 2003, so the Lord of the Rings movies were out. It's God, what is it a ripoff of, or a knockoff?
Mm-hmm.
It's like kind of like a Zelda game, kind of. There's another game that it's like just a blatant copy of. Anyway, this game is the game that got me into Lord of the Rings because I don't know, like I was very young when the Lord of the Rings came out, and my mom wouldn't let me watch all the violent parts. And this is what got me into The Hobbit. Is my favorite part of the Lord of the Rings. Anyway, I don't know. I just love this game. It's super goofy and cartoony, and I always got super scared and restarted when I got to the spider part. Because again, when I was a child, like the idea of dying in a video game was like dying in real life. It was just so horrifying. So anytime
old were you when you finally beat that?
I think I beat it as a kid. I think one time I just braved my way through the spider part.
You really had to hype yourself up, like power pose for it.
Yeah.
And, like,
But like,
do the Superwoman pose.
Okay,
I'm ready.
Talk to yourself in the mirror.
Oh man, this is a little older than I wanted. 2003, I would have been like 8. Anyway,
Golly.
I was hoping for like 5 or something, but I guess not.
No.
Oh man. Anyway, yeah, no, I probably beat it when I was like 9 or 10. I don't know.
Sorry.
This is correct. Was that the game that I tried to play and then went like? Was that the one where sneak mode? They would like.
No.
Or was that the Fellowship?
That's the Fellowship.
I was fucking crying when I was sneaking around in the Shire, and like I couldn't play the game because it was so goofy. There's a
Fellowship of the Ring game that is made by people who specifically hate the movies. Like literally they started making these games so that they could have the rights to the games so that the people who made the movies could not make games of the movies.
Wow.
That is the only reason they made them, which is why Lord of the Rings The Two Towers that we just showed you also has the Fellowship in it. There's no movie version video game for the Fellowship of the Ring because this game was made. And yeah, when you sneak in it, like the Hobbit feet, like they like do they put their arms over their heads or like they like this?
I think they're like out, aren't they?
Are they
like
they
out,
might be, but their feet,
are they doing a Naruto?
They're not doing a Naruto.
No, but their feet are literally just like
yeah,
this.
like
They're
it's
like,
super and like I it's so absurd and I was like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it seriously. It was so
and the reason why they hated the movies is because they weren't accurate to the books. But the Fellowship ends with a Nazgul on a fell beast capturing Sam, like in the same area where Boromir dies. He captures Sam and takes him to the top of a hill, and then Aragorn has to go and fight a Nazgul to save him.
That's in the game?
That's in the game. And the reason why they these games is because the movies were not accurate to the books.
Yeah, they really got carried away.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, they obviously didn't have the money to make another one.
No.
It was horrible.
Well, and then didn't the Two Towers come out around the same time?
Yeah, I think that Two Towers game came out
and is
like a year after.
Infinitely better. So they're like, I don't want this.
No, do not play that Fellowship game. It's
unless you want a good laugh.
Once it picks up though, it actually wasn't too bad.
Okay.
I didn't hate it with a burning passion.
I didn't leave the Shire. Like I couldn't get past how funny their dumb sneaking was that I couldn't continue playing it. It was too much.
Yeah, so The Hobbit. It's a good Zelda ripoff.
All right, I'm going to move on to my next one here. And actually, it is 2 games. I'm going to count it as one.
Every single one of yours are also mine.
Yeah, right.
So, Star Wars Battlefront and Star Wars Battlefront 2, the OG Battlefronts. God, these games are good. God, these games are amazing. Like, I don't really play the first one, but I have the second one on Steam, and I still fire that bad boy up a few times. And it's so good. The campaign kicks ass. Definitely some maps from the first Battlefront. And the nostalgia of split screening on a screen about this big with my friends. But like Dune Sea, the Renvar maps, awesome. And I really wish they would have carried those over to the second game. But the second game has Heroes, which was also super cool. And then the all-hero mode was amazing in Mos Eisley as well. And yeah, dude, the campaign in this game kicks ass. Yeah, you're the 501st and just going through the events of the Clone Wars into the Republic turning into the Empire. and it goes all the way up to Hoth. And God, like the diary entries in between each mission are awesome. You can skip the space missions, but you shouldn't skip the space missions because it's all part of the story. Oh yeah, the space missions were also awesome, I thought.
I liked the space missions.
I loved it. Going in and sabotaging the other... Hell yeah, dude. Landing a LAAT gunship in their hangar and then having your boys come in and up the place. Yes, dude. God. This game still kicks ass. I will say the new Star Wars Battlefront 2 has improved a lot. Because on launch, it was hot shit. The campaign was fine.
Not hot shit, but it was hot
garbage. Yeah. It's a pile of hot shit. But yeah, they've added a ton of content. And everybody was like, hey man, we want some Clone Wars stuff. And so they gave us, 2 little things from the Clone Wars. And we're like, no, like all of it. So they finally conceded and gave it to us.
Is there a ton of Clone Wars stuff in the...
They have... I haven't gone back to it in a while. I was going to reinstall it, but it's enormous now, and I didn't feel like waiting at the time.
Are these still EA, or is that
These are Pandemic.
Okay.
God, and I remember looking online at the trailers for Battlefront 3 and how fucking cool it was, where you could get into a ship on land and fly up into a space battle. And it was so ambitious for the time. I don't know if it would have worked, but it was so fucking cool. And yeah, dude. I do remember though being very pissed because I believe Kit Fisto is on the cover and not in the game.
Who is that?
He's a Jedi. He's the green one.
He's a guy with a bunch of...
We don't have the time, but he is a Jedi.
Avery's been sitting here for the last 20 minutes,
I don't know what's happening.
But it was amazing. This game kicks ass. This game still kicks ass. Revisit it if you haven't, because that campaign is still really emotional and really, really cool. I love this game.
It's a really, really good game.
Yeah.
I also think it is utterly phenomenal. I can't tell you how many hours I've poured into it.
And it's easy.
Yeah.
It can be challenging in the campaign, sometimes where you have to defend something. But compared to shooters nowadays, you can get 70 kills and 1 death. Maybe. Super easy. Yeah, and it's fun to just take them out. Capture command points. They've got the supers.
Early 2000 Star Wars games, man.
Oh, yeah.
You can't.
Oh, yeah.
Can't beat it.
Although, have you played Fallen Order?
I have it back there, and I haven't bothered to start it up. I started playing Arena again.
Super good. Why?
My precise reaction.
What are you getting out of it this time that you haven't gotten out of it the other 2 times you beat it?
Like I said in our Elder Scrolls video, I kind of fell out of Elder Scrolls Anonymous, so
yeah,
I'm back off the wagon.
I just
replaying Elder Scrolls Arena.
You don't enjoy it though.
Yes, I do. Actually.
Oh, okay.
I like that game.
Or was it one of the Fallout early games that you were playing and you hated it? Or you just weren't having fun?
So the first time I played Arena and Daggerfall, I did passionately hate them. Now that I've beat them, and I'm not just oh my god, is this ever gonna end? Mm-hmm. Now that I know where it's going and what to do and everything, I can actually have fun with them.
Okay,
so
that's fair.
Yeah,
it only crashed on you once already, so we'll see.
I've been having Steam games crash on me, and it makes me sad for the future.
Way to go, Steam.
Yeah. Republic Commando.
Got that back there.
So good too, but we're not going to get into that one.
All right. So, I'm going to make you guys feel how I felt for the last 20 minutes. Because
Yes, please.
I have no idea what's going on. And I know enough about Star Wars to keep up in your conversations sometimes.
Until
but
I
not
say
most of the
Kit
time.
Fisto.
Yeah,
Kiadi Mundi?
off.
Ayla Secura?
Stop! I don't know anything. Luke's his father, alright?
Luke's his father. That's okay. My mom called a stormtrooper a Skywalker.
A beauty.
And my stepdad called me over it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But I was like, God. And Ashley was in the car. My wife Ashley was in the car with me. And she was like, what was that? And I was like, family drama. And then she was like really concerned. And I explained it to her like in a very dramatic way. She's like, so what?
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Avery.
Wait.
Cruising
What?
for a losing.
Yeah, you're cruising for a bruising.
Say goodbye
blood.
to that butt virginity, Nathan.
I can't!
I'm sorry.
Never mind.
Cut that out in post.
Okay.
Okay.
So, my last game. You guys should have all seen this coming from 17 million miles away. Is Animal Crossing for the GameCube.
It's like half my Facebook feed.
Yeah, dude. So this game, it's actually currently in my GameCube. The game's not even in here. This game has started a many, many years long love affair with Mr. Rossetti. Specifically, I love that mole.
Yum.
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 Oh, I love when he yells at me.
Oof.
Oof. Anyway.
Daddy Rossetti.
Right? I know. So, but this game was one of the very first games that I bought for the GameCube myself. I had no idea what I was doing, and definitely got yelled at by Mr. Rossetti more than once because I didn't realize I needed to save. But the villagers in this game are so much meaner than they are in the rest of the games. And I specifically really like this game because I feel like they put a lot more effort into the dialogue, and you also had a lot more to do with your villagers. Like, in Animal Crossing New Horizons, they don't really ask you to, like, run errands for them and do stuff like that for them anymore because they just kind of expect you to be busy with all of the terraforming and stuff. But this game is amazing because your villagers yell at you. They have likes and dislikes. If you give them a sweater when they don't like sweaters, they'll call you an idiot. They'll tell you you're ugly. Like,
so good.
I love being verbally abused.
Jesus.
It reminds me so much of my childhood in general.
Nice.
Not my family.
We
I
won't
just
cut
got
that in post.
No, I just got heavily bullied all through school.
Oh.
It's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
But this game is just absolutely fantastic. I love all of the original villagers. I love the music in this game is so good. I feel like they had no idea how to write music in New Horizons. The music is nowhere near as good. The original GameCube version, the music is 10 times better. Also, I miss Rover. I miss Mr. Rossetti. I miss freaking all of the characters from this game. The only thing that is not good about this game in particular, right? Is the fact that you have to mail in your fossils to get them assessed, and that's some bullshit.
Not that you have to wear a dumbass hat the entire
Oh, no,
game.
love the hat. The hat's stupid. You look so stupid because you have no option but to wear, if you're a boy, you have to wear this hat. And if you're a girl, you have to wear, like, a pointy, like, gnome hat. You can't take it off. It's bare bones Animal Crossing. Like, they made it so you had to, like, it's the most simple Animal Crossing possible. There's no customizing your character. You can't change your hair color. You can't change your eye color. You can't be black. I'm sorry about it. That actually didn't happen until New Horizons. You could not be black until New Horizons.
Did you know that in South Park, the fractured but whole, when you increasing the difficulty makes your character darker?
Now I'm not saying it's a good thing that you can't be black in this game, because it's not.
Right.
but this game, God.
That just completely derailed.
I know.
But you can't be black. 0 out of 10.
Right.
Does it actually make the game harder in the fractured but whole?
Yeah.
It's not just like a joke?
No, it increases the difficulty of it. That's when your character is there and it has the difficulty meter, and as you make it harder, your character gets blacker.
Lovely.
Yeah.
It's so...
It's funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, this game is, like, if you want to know what Animal Crossing's about, you gotta play this game. This is about building a little community. You take care of your plants. You water your flowers.
Is Mr. Rossetti not in?
No.
Why the would they?
I know!
He's based entirely around resetting the game, and
They
it auto-saves every 20 seconds.
Well,
so.
and they took Mr. Rossetti out because he made some little girls cry. Because he can be pretty mean.
Yeah, but like...
I know.
Part of it.
I know. But I think this game, like, if you've never played the original Animal Crossing, if you just got in on New Horizons, you have no idea what this series used to be. Because don't get me wrong, I absolutely love New Horizons. It's a fantastic game. I've put 300 hours into that game, and I will probably put, like, 1,000 more.
You stream that mostly, that one, don't you?
Not recently, but normally, yeah, I stream it quite often. But this game really was all about building a community, getting to know your villagers, getting to know your town. It wasn't
being verbally abused.
Right.
And just the white ones.
Yeah. But it wasn't I feel like New Horizons is more like building a little dollhouse so you can like make your island look perfect. This game is about being verbally abused and making it part of your routine.
That's kind of fun, though. Like, it's like going to one of those restaurants where, like, the staff treats you like shit.
Yeah!
And, like, that's kind of the fun.
It's like Dick's Last Resort, right?
Yeah. I will say, though, I love customization, so that would be that'd be a knock against it for me, probably.
Okay, but, in this game, you can change your clothes. You can decorate your house.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot of customization, but it's not solely around customization.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't overdo it.
Yes.
I'd probably play the GameCube one if I was going to play anyone, just because I want that abusive social interaction. Can you can you hit people with shovels in that one?
Yes.
Yeah, what the... Can you not do
Done.
that?
You can.
Okay, I'm like, why would they...
I just, you know...
That sounds, like... more fun to me. Like all like the villagers and everybody like being a dickling to you. Like that sounds
There's some that are
more
nice
fun.
to you.
Right,
There's
but
some that are nice to you, but then you get to here's the thing. People that have only played New Horizons, they're like, I don't like this villager because they're ugly. Right? I don't like villagers in New Horizons because I remember in the GameCube when you called me a fat, ugly idiot, and I still hold that grudge from when I was 10 years old.
That's like, yeah, I like that because like, I guess since I've never played Animal Crossing and all the things that I've seen from it, it looks very like...
Kitty.
Not necessarily even kitty, but just very like always happy.
Right.
And I was like, I can see that being fun, and I wouldn't be opposed to playing it, but I don't think I would get super invested in it.
Right.
But that sounds really fun, where it's like people are treating you like shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Is like it just adds an air of like f***ery to the game that makes you like invested in like, I don't know. I feel like there's some people I would play the game where I'm like, I'm literally just devoted to like
destroying
the lives of these I have a list.
Yeah,
and I'm going to ruin the lives of every single one of these villagers, and that is what's driving me in this game.
Well, to give you like a overview, this game, when it opens, so you're on the train, you're moving to this new town. Rover's like, hey bud, where are you moving? You name your town, whatever. Rover's a cat. Yeah, he's beautiful. He's got red eyes. He's really creepy looking.
I like cats.
Yeah. But he's like, hey, where are you moving? Blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, so do you have money to move there? And you're like, no. And he's like, oh, okay. So he calls Tom Nook and he's like, dude, this idiot's moving to town. They have no money. Can you help them, please? Like, they have no idea what they're doing. So you get there, Tom Nook's like, why? Why did you think this was gonna work? He's like, you're lucky I just built some houses. So then you go, you pick out your house, and he's like, hey, now I need the down payment. And you're like, I don't have any money. I have no money.
So
and he's
that's
like,
in the first one?
Yes.
In this one? Okay.
Yes. And so he's like, fine, then you have to come work for me now. So you have to go work for Tom Nook, and he'll make you put on the uniform, and you're like, I don't want to wear this uniform. It's ugly. And you take it off, and then he yells at you that you have to put it back on. And as you're running these errands, you meet these new villagers, and some of them are like, oh, hi, Avery, it's nice to meet you. My name's Tangy. And then you come across freaking, like, Bernadette or whatever her name is. She's chicken. I'll put up a picture here. I'll send it to Nathan.
Right over Michael's face.
Yeah. She's a bitch. She yelled at me. I just recently started replaying this. She yelled at me and she's like, oh, so you moved here with no money and now you have to run errands for Tom Nook because you're in debt? Great. You're smart. Mm-hmm. Like, immediately off the bat. It's
Welcome
amazing.
to the list,
yeah.
bitch.
But then there's some that, like, as you get to know them over time, they're really sweet. Like, they'll be mean to you at first. They're kind of grumpy, but then you give them, like, presents and stuff, and they're like, you're okay. You're fine. And then there's ones that are nice, and then there's some that you just hate for the entire time, and you can't wait for them to move out.
See, that makes it more interesting to me. Like, New Horizons looks cool, and, like, all the stuff that's in there, I'm like, that looks like, you know, something you could really get invested in, but I don't know, I feel like that brings more character to it. Like,
it makes it feel more like a real community.
Yeah.
Because when you live somewhere, some of your neighbors are dicks.
Yeah.
We would know. But yeah, so Animal Crossing has been... I've played every single entry in the series, except for Amiibo Festival. I still need to make Nathan play it with me!
Is there a community of people who, like, want some form of, like, Mr. Rossetti and, like, all that kind of stuff back onto it?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, is that, like, a Reddit thing, maybe?
Probably, yeah.
Probably. Reddit has opinions.
A lot of them. So.
We could stream Amoeba Festival.
Ooh, yes! We will announce that on Twitter when that's happening. We should make Michael come over and play that with us. It's really bad.
Oh, awesome. Nathan and I tried to play...
It's a party game?
Oh, I don't mind party games.
Oh, it's a really bad party game.
Well, Nathan and I tried to play Ultimate Alliance together, and I don't even know if we got past the first.
I thought we had played a ton of that game together. Maybe that was me and...
Jean-Luc,
somebody
probably.
else.
You and somebody else did. I don't think we got super far because it was like
bad.
It was painful. No, we did. No, Derek was also playing. Maybe you and Derek were, because I remember there was the time when the three of us were playing and I released my button mashing skills and you both were like, "What the Michael?"
Oh yeah. Michael button mashes like nobody I've ever seen in my entire life. Like,
hell yeah.
I'll be playing I was playing the original God of War, which has some of the hardest button mashing segments I've ever seen. It doesn't compare to Metal Gear Solid, but it's up there. And like, you know, there's multiple times on the final boss where you have to button mash, and so I'm sitting there and I'm like, for like,
probably sounding exactly like that.
Oh yeah,
it was
for like 30
100%.
seconds, and then I'd like finally get it, and I'm like, and then like at one point Michael was like, do you want me to do the next one? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's sitting there and he's like, there you go.
Hell yeah.
And it absolutely
dude.
blew my mind. And like, yeah, no, it's a miracle. It's a miracle.
Hell
like,
yeah.
And that's not just like I'm bad at button mashing, which may possibly be the case, but he button mashes so well that like the game's animations sometimes can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
Like they'll cut in weird ways because they're like, oh, he did that really fast. Okay, let's move on to the next thing.
Well, there was in Ultimate Alliance, like there was a boss where I don't know if they're like crushing you and you have to like pry their hands apart. So when you and Derek would button mash it, the hands would be like, and then I did it and it was like, boop.
It was literally like,
it was like Yeah, it was like done. And
Didn't even get the time to like close his hands.
It was awesome. I felt like a king that day. That was the peak of my life, and it has been downhill since then.
Ooh. Don't tell Ashley that.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm gonna text this to Ashley.
She knows I'm a good button masher too, so.
Ooh, that can be taken a certain kind
Yeah,
of way.
I thought about that after I said it.
Yeah.
Didn't
Many,
mean it that way.
Segway. All right,
That was
so
beautiful.
That was some harmonization.
Kind of.
I wasn't paying attention. And I picked one too many games, so I'm going to run through the next one really quick. This is one of the first games that I ever owned when my parents finally bought me and my brother a PS2, and it is the greatest racing game of all time, Burnout 3 Takedown.
Yes.
Listen, if you're a racing game and you're not also about smashing into other cars, I don't care about you. You're not interesting.
No.
So Burnout is all about smashing into other cars. That's one awesome thing about it. And then also it's got the best soundtrack out of any game ever. All of the cringy early 2000s rock that you can possibly imagine.
Hell yeah.
I have gotten a gold medal on every single race in the game. I needed a little bit of Michael's help to get a gold medal on all of the crashing missions where the only goal is to just blow up as many cars as humanly possible.
God, those are the
But
best.
he was an absolute master at that, and I appreciate him for it. But yeah, no, you haven't experienced the joy of a racing game until you've gotten gold on a Formula One race after playing it for 4 straight hours and finally learning the pattern of every single one of the cars and managing to go at 200 miles an hour for the entire race without nicking a single wall and finally beating it with like I think 20 milliseconds to spare on like on the last one.
Yeah, when you realize when you touch a wall and you're like and you have to restart the race, you have to perfectly do it or
when you're going for gold on that final Formula One race in Burnout 3, if you literally you're not lying, if you nick a wall, you might as well just restart.
Is Burnout 3 the game that you played when you didn't go to school that one day?
Yeah. We had what was that test that everybody had to take?
I don't know. I think it was some army test.
Yeah,
the I don't know, but Abigail and I we're doing that next to each other and just kind of bullshit the whole thing.
Yeah. Some army test, and they were like, you have to come in.
The ASVAB.
It's the ASVAB.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And we called it the ass flab.
Probably. I don't remember.
It was high school. Yeah, and they were like, it's optional, but you have to come in. But we have to tell you it's optional, but you have to come in. And so I just played Burnout 3 until 1 p.m. and then came into school.
See, y'all are lucky. You bullshitted it. You didn't take it. I did really well on the test, and then a bunch of army recruiters wouldn't stop calling me. So
It was funny because army recruiters would Facebook message me all the time or do stuff like that, and every time I'm like, yeah, I have epilepsy, so
I can't.
probably not.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And then a month later, at least the same account would message me again and be like, excuse me, are you interested? And I'm like, literally scroll up and it says
the
I have
message
epilepsy.
is still right
it's
there.
Still
I
there.
can see it. I don't even need to scroll.
I should have just screenshotted it and that would have been my reply.
Yeah.
I'm like, we've been over this. You're like an abusive ex.
Yep.
All right. My last game is one of the most nostalgic games I can possibly imagine.
Also for me too.
And it is the limited edition copy of Ultimate Spider-Man.
God.
Is that your original copy?
It is my original copy. Yes.
God.
And I even have the little comic book that came with it.
Sick.
And the reason why it's in a Ziploc baggie is because my dad told me it would be worth something one day, and that isn't true, but I never took it out of the Ziploc baggie.
It's not.
Yeah, so...
Nobody ever talks about this game, but
No.
it's so
And
good.
It's not the greatest Spider-Man game of all time,
No,
because
but-
obviously the greatest Spider-Man game of all time is advertised on the back of this comic book. It's Spider-Man 2. But... Hot take. Greatest Spider-Man game of all time is Spider-Man 2.
I think there are a lot of people that would agree with you.
I love Marvel's Spider-Man with a very hot, burning passion. But, and I think it's the best Spider-Man movie ever made. Like, as far as story goes, it's the best. But you can't beat the web swinging in Spider-Man 2. Like, that was a thing when the game came out. Like, reviewers were like, yeah, no, the web swinging is absolutely amazing. It's the best web swinging since Spider-Man 2. And admitting that this 2004 game did web swinging just a little bit better. Because it's 100% physics-based. Like, there's no help at all. And so there's significantly more that you can do with the web swinging, and it's significantly easier to make mistakes, whereas in Marvel's Spider-Man, it's just traversal. Like, as long as you're pressing the R2 button, you're good to go. So, yeah, anyway. But this game, I don't even know what to say about it. The races in this game.
Oh, man.
Oh, the amount of time I spent trying to get...
I was there when you were doing those, when you were finishing it up, and I was like, I couldn't. I by the time I stopped playing that game, I was too young to keep even anything at that game. I mean, I beat it, but like I didn't 100% it. Yeah, I think we were in high school, and I saw Nathan 100%ing the game, and I was like, holy shit. Those last races are insane.
Well, and I didn't. Like,
no,
like, there's like 5 levels of races, and on level 4, I managed to get, there's like bronze, silver, gold, and ultimate, and I got ultimate on every single race up to level 4, and some of those I would have to do for like 4 hours to finally get an ultimate score. But on the final races, it's like, oh, yeah, to like, you would have to literally like fly into the air and then like get onto a specific spot on the building, and to even get bronze you would have to fall like several hundred feet and land perfectly on top of like an air vent circular thing coming out of the top of a building that's about this big. Like, you would have to fall like 300 feet and just land perfectly on it. Something so small that like Spider-Man's model, his feet would be on either side of it. His feet don't even stand perfectly on the thing in the PS2 game, and you got to land perfectly on that. It was just way too damn hard. So I didn't even get bronze on those. But no, I really like the comic booky animations, even though in some of the cutscenes it looks really ugly.
Yeah.
And I like how tiny Spider-Man is. Like, he looks big and imposing in, like, most Spider-Man games. He looks like a hero. And in this game, I mean, he's so just itty-bitty on the screen. He looks like a child.
And the Venom play was cool, too. That you could play as Venom. Dark. So dark, where like what's it, the first Venom level? Your goal is to consume a child.
Yeah, the first thing the first thing you do as Venom, they're like, all right, you're playing as Venom now. Like, here's the tutorial. Go and consume that, and it's like an 8-year-old kid.
Jesus!
Holding a Spider-Man balloon and like a street corner at night with the like light shining down on him, and then you consume jump out him and the Spider-Man balloon, like,
you jump out of the bushes and like go like this, and all these tentacles fly out of your chest and like consume this kid, and then the balloon floats up, and then when you play the extra Venom levels, when you like switch to Venom, your entire goal is just consuming people and destroying as much as possible to get a high enough score before the military kills you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. It was really, really cool for that time, especially being as open world as it was.
Solid game. Best Spider-Man comic too. Ultimate Spider-Man is.
Oh yeah, I can tell you about that. I haven't played any of the Spider-Man games, but Ultimate Spider-Man is by far best Spider-Man comic series of all time. That is what made me love Peter Parker. Also, hot take: best Spider-Man movie is the ones with Tom Holland. Sorry.
That's not a hot take.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I think most people would agree with you.
People who are like 40 go for the Tobey Maguire ones, and I can tell why, but nobody's disagreeing with you, especially people.
But
there are people though who think Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man.
Just because he's the hottest.
I think that I I love parts of Tobey Maguire that Tom Holland doesn't have, and I love parts of Tom Holland's that Tobey Maguire doesn't have. I guess the movies. I will say the movies themselves, if you take the 2 Tom Holland movies and take it up against the 3, actually that's really tough. Because I think the first 2 Tobey Maguire ones are solid.
Yeah. Well, and even the third one, like...
Yeah, that's awesome. I f***ing love
that scene.
The dork trying to be really cool Spider-Man. That's the best. That's the only part that I go and rewatch because I love it.
That scene is a miracle.
And then, but yeah, like, I think Tom Holland is probably like, it's a safer Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a safer one. Toby's is, I mean, it was made by fucking Sam Raimi.
He goes wild.
Yeah.
Would you agree that the Marvel Spider-Man game though is the best Spider-Man?
Oh, 100%.
Movie.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that story is like, I've never actually gotten emotional during a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, and that one oh man, that was
no spoilers, but
golly.
I can't speak to the games, but I will tell you one of the storylines in the Ultimate Spider-Man's comic literally made me cry.
Didn't multiple make you cry?
Oh yeah, but you know the one that I'm thinking of with Aunt May.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it just in case you guys want to go back and read those, but
honestly, go back and read them. They're they're like
really good.
If you were like, what is a comic book I want to read, my first comic book ever? Ultimate Spider-Man.
That's literally what you did. I was like, I want to get into comics, and Nathan was like, here you go.
And she didn't end up getting into comics, but she really enjoyed Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah. That's mostly because she also read other comics.
Yeah.
And other comics are bad.
The Fantastic Four from the Ultimates timeline is so terrible.
Why is that the one you chose to read?
What? The
Fantastic
Ultimate
Four?
Timeline? No, Nathan was just giving me
comments.
Yeah,
okay.
I was just like,
that one?
Here's Ultimate Marvel, take all of it, read them in this order, the order of release, and then
I regretted my
I don't know why I did that, but all the Ultimate Spider-Man was good. Luckily there was the most of that. X-Men was good sometimes and then got terrible, which is usually the case.
Yeah.
Like comics, 90% of them
are garbage.
Straight garbage.
Yeah.
But if you want to read one comic ever, read the first run of Ultimate Spider-Man. You'll be happy. And that is actually the original Miles Morales runs into that. So, yeah, it goes Peter Parker for like 120 issues or something like that, and then goes straight into Miles Morales with his origin story and all that.
You introduced me to Miles Morales, and I was like, and you were like, do you want to know about the best Spider-Man? And then, you introduced me to it, and I was like, holy shit. Yeah, like this is easily
do you guys want to know
I think
something adorable?
Well, and I think I was like, a black Spider-Man, and you're like, I don't know if you thought like, he's just a knockoff or something like that.
Well, I didn't know it was a thing. I thought you were just being like.
And then I was like, look at his costume, and you're like, that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
You want to know something adorable though? So my niece Ava was at the office the other day. I work with her mom, my sister, and. She was at the office the other day. She was watching Into the Spider-Verse at the office, like in our conference room. She's obsessed with Spider-Man. And I was like, which one do you like better? Do you like Peter Parker or Miles? And she's like, Miles, because his costume's way cooler.
I will say the Marvel Spider-Man game with the big white spider, I really liked that costume. I thought that was really slick.
That is cool.
I almost didn't use any of the other costumes I unlocked because I just thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I switched in between them a little bit. I was like, this one kind of works for this mission because it's stealth, so I'll use this one.
Right.
I tried to use like all of them at least for one mission, but mostly I just stuck with that because it's the game's costume.
Right. Yeah, and that's the same. Like I would go and try a few different ones, and a lot of times I would unlock them for the powers that they had. But yeah, I preferred the games.
punk rock one.
Yeah.
Spider Punk, is that just the name of that one?
I haven't played it. I just like the way that one looks.
All right. Well, that was for a comic book tie-in. A comic book that is terrible.
Yeah.
Like really, really bad. Okay. Are we done now? We got one left?
Yes. We have one left.
This has been a long one.
Yes.
The reason that I chose this one to be last is because I don't know if you'd consider it a cult classic. The series is fine. Like I really like the games, but compared to what they were promised to be, they're awful.
Truth.
But I enjoyed this one before I knew about that because it was very young when it came out, and that is Fable. The first
Hell
one.
yeah.
I will say, I think The Lost Chapters is the best one in the entire series. 2 has a really good story. I didn't mind 3 so much. The gameplay is like a lot lazier. And it's not quite as cool. The customization isn't as cool. The story's not as good. But I still enjoyed 3. But The Lost Chapters, I think, is easily the best one.
Is that a standalone DLC or?
It's an expansion. So
Okay.
there's the first Fable, The Lost Chapters is like it added like a second half to the game. So it's the first one and then it continues on after the end and there's more story and it's fucking cool. Also one cool thing about Fable is it kind of had a thing. I don't know if I would consider it necessarily a mod on the PC though. You could go into the files, and it was part of the gameplay, and create tattoos for your character, and then purchase them in game and wear those tattoos. And I thought that was really cool. But it was the first game that I ever saw. I was a little one, but it was the first one I ever saw where like your decisions had influence over a lot of different things. So your decisions on and it wasn't like a thing where it's just like, oh, here's a part where we say kill this person or don't kill this person, and one of them is obviously the bad choice. It was a thing that was like, you're escorting 2 traders through treacherous woods, and there's Balverines, which are werewolves basically, but a little cooler. And then a trader who was attacked by a Balverine and is obviously infected goes up to you and asks if he could have if he could also travel with you guys so he could make it through. And you're like, well, if I leave him to die, then I just leave him to die. Or I could try and help him knowing that he's going to turn into a Balverine and attack us. And it's like, I don't know which one I want to do. But it was really cool too. And like, I love the story. I think the gameplay is awesome. I think the Heroes Guild is f***ing cool. And I'm so bummed that it's not... Like, I understand story-wise why it's not a part of the second one and it's not a part of the third one. But I think, like, a prequel game where it had maybe, like, the founding of it or more of it, because the Heroes Guild, I think, is fucking cool. And there's so much history and lore in it. But it's also very goofy.
Yes.
Have you've played Fable?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How much?
I played Fable 1 a little bit, and then I played, like, probably a good 20 hours of the one on the 360. I don't know if it was 2.
2 and 3 are on the 360.
I think I played 2, so...
2 is the one where you start out, and it's like you and your sister and your 4. Okay,
Yep.
That one's super good, too.
Very goofy game, though.
Super goofy.
So goofy.
The only thing I know about Fable is, aren't you naughty?
So there's in the first game, that's the one I put the most time into. That's the one I know the most about. But there are you can get married to damn near anybody, and the females in the game there's like a few different voices. I don't even know, like 3 or 4 different voices, and there's one voice that's like very Cockney, and when you have sex with your wife, one of her lines is, "Oh, aren't you naughty?" And it's so good. And then I also love when you go up to the guy he lost his mushrooms and he's asking if you can help him. One of the quests is to help him find the mushrooms. And one of the things he says is like, if you stand really still, I can see your skeleton. And he's like tripping balls. And like, yeah, like, so I understand that the hate that the series gets because the devs and like, yeah, the creators of the games promised
Too much.
so much.
Yeah.
and like did not deliver.
Yes.
But if you didn't know about that, which I didn't until I think I played through all 3 of the games before I even knew about that, I was like, these are f***ing awesome. I love these games. The stories are great. The characters are great. The world is amazing. And then it's like, yeah, this is what it was supposed to be. And then I'm like, yeah, that would have been like a lot cooler.
Honestly, I didn't even know about the controversy behind Fable until like a year ago. So
Yeah,
I
was
had
late
no
to
clue.
it.
And they and then Xbox announced another one, but I think it's rumored to be an MMO.
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah, the one that was announced at like the Xbox showcase.
I don't know how I feel about that. They're so good as just like
Single
player games. They don't
That's
need
what
to
we
be
needed.
MMOs. They don't like.
We definitely needed another MMO.
Yeah. Well, especially like I got into Fable because I really liked Dragon Age.
Mm-hmm.
And though they're not really the same thing, they kind of are in like a way,
big
you know,
fantasy medieval
RPG situation.
yeah,
but
kind
I
of.
just love like how cartoony and silly like the character models are. It's got a real sense of humor, but also can be serious when
like it can be very dark and very serious and everything like that, and sometimes it can get like really emotional, and some of the decisions you have to make can be really hard. But it's also so ridiculous. Like, yeah, and it's a great time. Visiting the brothel was always super fun. And I think you can get like a pimp hat if you have sex with all the women there, you get like a pimp hat.
Oh my god.
It's
yeah.
Of course you do.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
It's but like
stupid.
It's
but it's
stupid,
great.
but it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's so easy to just like really care about a lot of the characters in the game, and I honestly think the storytelling is super good.
Yeah. The thing that I found most interesting about it was like kind of the morality system behind it, and the fact that your decision, it's the same reason why I like Dragon Age. Your decisions affect outcomes.
So it's like, in certain situations, like the harder choice or like the evil choice is the easier choice, but like there are consequences to your actions. So like if you do the easier choices or you do like all the evil shit and you just do whatever you want, your appearance changes because there's an attractive meter that you have, and so the more evil you are, the more horrifying you look. You eventually can get horns will start protruding out of your head, and it's not immediate. They like slowly grow out of your skull. And people are terrified of you. So, like, if you're just like, oh, I'd like to get married and do all of this, or I want people to like me, then you have to be at least decent, like, fairly decent. But if you want to do, like, evil stuff, people don't like you so much.
And then in the third Fable game, you can have one of two endings. Either an incredibly prosperous, bustling kingdom with millions of people who all fucking hate your guts and are living very, very well, or a completely empty, desolate wasteland with 3 citizens who are like, you're the greatest king like, I've ever met.
Each town has like 3 people in it, and they're like, you're amazing, I love you, and it's so sad. It's like
because they messed up the morality system.
I mean, you can get the prosperous world and be beloved, but you have to grind for it. I hate grinding so much.
I love grinding.
I can like grinding, but like I just get irritated with it because
never
like
play a Dynasty Warriors game, bud.
I guess so. Like it just doing like menial things for the sake of just getting better.
Love it.
I hate it.
Amazing.
I hate doing this. I hate going to a forest and hunting wolves or some
Don't play a JRPG.
Right.
Yeah.
I played Final Fantasy X and just I grinded a ton in that game, and the last boss was still impossible, so I grinded for like 6 more hours and then I beat him. Like that's just life.
I used to hoard repel potions in Pokemon because I hated random encounters. Like, I was like, I'm just trying to get to this place. Stop f***ing interrupting me trying to get from point A to point B.
Well,
like, I don't want to stop every 10
Pokemon
seconds.
Shield or Sword.
And that was the worst thing in Final Fantasy X is that I started counting how long it would be between random encounters. And it was anywhere from like 1 to 3 seconds. And you'd have to go across this, like, I don't know, like 2 football fields length of track to get to the other side. And it's like literally the second a battle would end, I would just hold forward on the analog stick as hard as possible. Because if you don't start moving right away, man, you're f***ed.
I hate it. I'm sorry if you guys don't. Yeah, you swear on the...
Yeah.
Do you it out,
I'm gonna have to put a lot of...
it out a lot. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm gonna have a ton of bleeps in this.
Sorry. Yeah, but part of the reason that I really like the first Fable the most is it's probably the simplest one of the 3. It's the simplest, but it also feels like it has the most of what Fable is. Like the second one, there's less customization. I don't think there's as many demon doors. It just feels like there's less. And then the third one feels like there's even less of that. Whereas in the first Fable, well, the second Fable does have a good amount of customization, but the first Fable has like a really good amount. The weapons are like pretty basic and easy to understand. There's a lot of world building, different cultural things are really cool to experience, and maybe it's because I spent so much more time in the Lost Chapters than I did in 2 or 3. But it feels like it's so much easier to like be comfortable in communities in the first one. Like a lot of times I felt like I was just here to shop or to do something in 2 and 3. Like I was like, oh, I'm just kind of passing through. Whereas in the first one, it's like, oh, I can spend a lot of time in Knothole Glade. And I can spend a lot of time in like all of these different cities and like experience the different things going on and really feel like I'm interacting with the culture or like with the citizens. Whereas in the second and third one, I felt more like a passerby.
Yeah, I vibe with that.
Yeah. And like I said, it could be just because I didn't invest as much time, but I feel
like it's the same reason why I like the GameCube Animal Crossing the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the heart of what the series is.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And I think, so I think, again, The Lost Chapters is obviously better than the first one because it's the first one plus more good shit.
Yeah.
So, like, it's, but yeah, I definitely think it's the best one. I mean, yeah, the story's awesome. The character building's awesome. It's just fucking cool. So yeah, that's and I was too young to play it when it came out. I had to watch somebody play it because it was rated M, and my mom was like, "Hell no." But I guess she was okay with me watching it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Either way, yeah. And then once I got my hands on it, I was stoked. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for listening to our nostalgic video game discussion. Michael's podcast will be in the description down below.
Yes, it will be. It is
M&H Adventures.
M&A. Did you say
M&H?
M
Gas Station Adventures.
Yeah.
M ampersand A's Excellent Adventures.
And then isn't the where you find it is not an ampersand though?
No, it is. On SoundCloud, YouTube, and Spotify now. It is it is an ampersand.
Really?
But the email, and actually I was wrong about this.
That's
we have to redo it on the pod that we recorded with Nathan.
And I am on one of their podcasts.
I'm on
number 5.
The 5th episode, Nathan guests, and it's so funny. I love that episode. I'm so excited to release it. And to edit it and do everything. It's going to be hilarious. But yeah, the email where fans or listeners can send us story ideas that they have, stories that they just want to tell us or interested in guesting, that is michaelandanthonyadventures @gmail.com, all spelled out.
MICH
AELANDANTHONYADVENTURES @gmail.com.
Ducky, how about you just put that on the screen, huh?
Yeah, just put that up there. And so you should do like each letter at a time, like flashing on the screen.
We'll see how long I want to take to edit this thing.
Right. But thank you very much for listening. Our Twitch channel, our Twitter, our Instagram will all be listed in the description down below. I normally stream. I'm the only streamer. Nathan guest stars sometimes. Normally stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Generally around 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We appreciate you guys watching, and we hope you have a fantastic week. We will see you again next Monday. Bye!
Bye!
And if you want to see any of our previous videos, you can find them in one of these places. It's either going to be over here or over there.
Oh,
over
and
here. It might be in the middle.
You know what we haven't ever said before?
What?
If you liked this content, please subscribe and hit the like button.
And share.
And
I
share.
think they know. They might know how to do that already.
I know,
though.
but you have to remind them because sometimes people forget that they can subscribe to you.
I'm sure they are still watching.
Mash that like button.
Yeah, just I don't know. There's a video hanging around here somewhere if you want to see one.
I'm sure there is.
You know.
Can you set how long these go up for?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. How much time do you think they need?
Probably this long.
Or longer.
No. Are you do the Carlton?
I can't. I don't have the room. I'd hit you both.
Here.
I don't want to do the Carlton.
Do it. Thank you.
We'll cut it there.
Yeah.